Hey, welcome. Today we are diving into a financial product that you may have heard about, especially if you're dreaming of retiring early. It's called the temporary annuity. Now, on the surface, it sounds like an amazing idea, right? A bridge to get you over an income gap. But the real question is it a sturdy bridge to your future, or is it more like a rickety toll road that costs way too much? Let's figure it out.
So, you are ready. You are so ready to leave that 9-to-5 grind behind, maybe even a few years earlier than you'd planned? That's fantastic. But then the big question hits. If you retire at, say, 62, but your pension or Social Security doesn't kick in until you're 67, how are you going to pay the bills for those 5 years? That gap? It's a real challenge, and a lot of people are facing it.
All right, so let's start by just putting a name to this problem. We'll call it the early retirement gap. It's super important to understand exactly what this challenge looks like.
It's a really simple idea, but it has some pretty big consequences. You've stopped working, so those regular paychecks are gone, but your biggest sources of retirement income, they haven't started yet. You somehow need to create a paycheck for yourself, and you want to do it without draining your life savings, or worse, doing permanent damage to your future pension.
Now, this is exactly where a product called the temporary annuity comes into the picture. And I gotta tell you, on the surface, it looks like it was custom built to solve this exact problem.
So what is this thing? Well, a temporary annuity is basically a deal. You make it with your pension provider, usually. They agree to give you extra income for a set number of years to fill that gap. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. It's not free money. The cost is a permanent cut to your pension benefits for the rest of your life. Let's just break down how it works. It's really a three-step process. First, you fund it. Second, you start getting a predictable, guaranteed stream of payments for whatever term you chose, let's say 5 years. But that third step, that is the one you really need to pay attention to. Once that term is over, your main pension is smaller forever.
You know, a great way to think about it is like this. You're taking out a loan from your 75-year-old self to help pay the bills for your 62-year-old self. It feels great right now, of course, but your future self is the one who's going to have to pay it all back for decades.
And that brings us to the most important part of this whole discussion, really understanding the permanent trade-off. This is where we have to weigh what you get in the short term against what you give up for good.
So you've got this stark contrast. The gain, it's immediate, it's predictable, and it's tempting. You get a reliable income boost to get you through those first few years. But the pain is long-lasting and it is significant. For example, to get an extra, say, $800 a month for 5 years, you might have to accept a permanent $300 a month cut from your pension for the rest of your life.
And you know, the downside isn't just a smaller check for you. It's a whole package of drawbacks. That permanent reduction, it also means your spouse could get less money if you pass away. The payments are fixed, so inflation is just going to eat away at their value over time. And in that example I just gave, over a 20-year retirement, that $300 monthly cut adds up to a staggering $72,000 in lost income. You're literally locking yourself into a less flexible future.
Okay, so if the temporary annuity has all these really serious drawbacks, what's a better way to build that income bridge? Well, the good news is there are much smarter strategies out there.
The goal here, remember, is to create that income bridge without totally wrecking the financial highway you need for the rest of your life. So let's look at two really strong alternatives that give you more control and, most importantly, preserve your future income.
First up, let's compare it to an annuity with a guaranteed lifetime withdrawal benefit, or a GLWB. With the temporary annuity, the income just stops, period. A GLWB, on the other hand, is designed to pay you for life. The temporary annuity shrinks your pension. The GLWB preserves your account value for you and for your heirs. I mean, it's a huge difference in security and long-term value.
Okay, next, let's look at something called a multi-year guaranteed annuity, or a MYGA. This is a fantastic tool for building a bridge. Unlike that rigid temporary annuity, a MYGA often lets you withdraw up to 10% a year, penalty-free, to create your own income stream. And here's the key part. At the end of the term, your principal, it's still yours. You haven't sacrificed a single penny of your future pension. So after looking at how these things work, the trade-offs, the alternatives, what's the final verdict on temporary annuities?
Let's just ask the question directly. After all of this, does this product actually make sense for most people who are planning their retirement?
And the answer is rarely. I mean, they might work for a tiny
tiny slice of people with very specific circumstances, but for the vast majority of us, the permanent cost to your financial future is simply too high a price to pay for a little short-term convenience.
So who should just steer clear? Well, basically anyone who wants to get the most income possible over their lifetime. Anyone who wants to protect their spouse, anyone planning for a long and healthy retirement, or anyone who just wants to keep their options open. If that sounds like you, then a temporary annuity is probably not your best move.
Look, I know navigating these options can feel complicated, but you really don't have to do it alone. Getting expert, unbiased advice is absolutely the best way to make sure you're building the right bridge for your unique retirement goals.
Seeing the actual numbers for your specific situation is the clearest way to understand the long-term impact. A side-by-side comparison of a temporary annuity versus a MYGA or a GLWB, that can show you exactly what you'd be giving up versus what you could gain.
And that's something the team here at the Annuity Expert can help you with. Our guidance and our personalized comparisons are completely free. Give us a call at 770-755-1565 or visit us online at annuityexpertadvice.com to build your retirement bridge the smart way. We really hope this was helpful.